Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra and today I'm bringing to you a roundup of limited edition makeup that just happens to be my favorite. If you're new to my channel, a very special welcome to you. I hope you will consider subscribing if you like what you see today. It's free, it's easy, and it helps you find my videos Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday when I upload. And if you ring that bell, allegedly YouTube will let you know when that happens. Kind of the first thing that inspired this entire video for me was the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette. This is from Holiday 2018, and then they repackaged it and put it out in the ghost packaging in Holiday of 2019. I do think this is still available at the time that I'm filming this, and if it is, I'll have it linked down below. But I love this and I would never quit using this on my channel. My hubby purchased this. This was the very first luxury makeup that I ever received or purchased or anything like that, and I just love this. I love that you have a couple finishing powders, a really beautiful bronzer, a nice highlight, and two blush. This one more of a satin pinky shade, and this one very much a glowy nudie orange shade. And I just love this. I've traveled with this a ton, even though it doesn't look like it. It's very sturdy packaging. It's just beautiful and luxury from beginning to end. And they put these out almost every Christmas or every holiday season, I should say. And so even though people can't, you know, may at some point not be able to get this one anymore, I'm assuming, for one, you can purchase a lot of the individual shades individually outside of the palettes, but if you can't, there will always be another one. And you know, these are beautiful powder products, but would I say that it's a necessity in anyone's makeup collection? No. This was 100% about being spoiled by my husband and just really enjoying this palette. This is another one I thought of right away, and it is the NARS Make Up Your Mind Eye and Cheek palette. You have the Laguna bronzer and then 3 blush. This is Luster Gorgeous. This is Dulce Vita, and I love this color. And then you have Orgasm, which, it's okay. And then you have 8 shadows. You have 2 glitter shadows right here. And the reason that I like pulled the trigger on this palette, even though I had another NARS face palette and things like that, and I don't love Orgasm, and I already have Laguna in the other palette, is because of these 2 glitter shades. They're absolutely stunning, but beyond that, these are full-size eyeshadows, and if you bought 2 of these eyeshadows individually, it would pay for what I paid for the palette, if that makes sense. It's basically, I paid for those 2 eyeshadows and the rest of the palette was free. I have no qualms about it. I really love this palette. It is fantastic for traveling, and I like the sort of everyday things in there. I really have grown to love that Luster blush, especially over the top of the Flower Beauty Blush Balm in Pinched. I love that palette, and I know a lot of people still have it, and it had like a brief fleeting moment on YouTube, but I love it, and I bought it because I wanted it for myself, not for my channel. All right, let's talk a little bit about a limited edition MAC collection. I did declutter the eyeshadow quad that came in this collection. It just wasn't a good fit for me. It wasn't getting used, so I passed it along. But I'm talking about one of the MAC and Patrick Starrr collections. I think this one was like So Chic or something like that. I can't remember now, and it's not on the packaging, but it had this beautiful soft pink floral packaging. And the main reason I wanted the entire collection or the trio of products in this particular colorway is because of this blush. It's a split pan. It's called the I'm Not Blushing Powder Blush Duo from MAC. It was very early on in my YouTube days, within my first year of YouTube, And I just love the idea of having essentially 3 blushes in this little compact right here. And I do really love warm blush. This is the blush I have on today, although it looks kind of faded, doesn't it? It's just such a perfect shade for my skin. As much as my eye is not necessarily always drawn to like peachy blushes, they do look damn good on my skin. So me being a noob on the scene of YouTube, this was like a new concept to me, and I just wanted this blush so badly, and I still love it, and I still use it. It looks beautiful on my skin tone. And then the other part that was part of the trio, this is one of the MAC Amplified Creme lipsticks, and this is in the shade Sweet Mama Starrr. I mean, you can see I've had a decent amount of usage on this one, and it's just a really beautiful peachy nude. I have this as like the center part of my lips. I have a little bit of lip gloss on top, but not much. And this was just like the highlighting shade with a darker lip liner. And I just think that is so pretty. So pretty. And I do like the Amplified Creme formula. It's a cream formula, obviously, but it's relatively long lasting and tenacious on the lips, so I love that about it. Let us talk eyeshadow palettes, and I'll go ahead and start with the one that I'm wearing on my eyeballs today, and that is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. I really love this palette. And it was so fleeting, and you know, anything that they've put out kind of along the same vein in the last couple of years since this one was discontinued really hasn't been as good. And so many people still really rave about this palette, like Project Panners, you'll see them talk about this palette a lot because they're still using it. They don't care if it's limited edition, they're gonna pan that stuff. And so I just love this. In case you're curious, I used this warm brown in the crease, a little bit of this on the outer part of the lid, and then this really beautiful blue over most of the lid, and then this really pretty duochrome called Spirit on the inner part of the lid. And I still love this, and it's one that I look forward to using any time of year, but especially in spring and summer, as a beautiful selection of mattes and shimmers in here. And it's just fun, and I actually do reach into this palette for specific colors, the duochrome of course, but I also really love this purple shade in here, and I love this shimmery aqua color with this matte aqua color. It's just fun. There's no limit to what that palette can do in terms of fun, colorful looks. And while we're talking about BH Cosmetics, I also love my Royal Affair palette. This was a gift for Christmas, I believe, from my girl Angela over at Beauty by Angela. And to me, this is such a beautiful array of colors. You got a couple points of interest in here. Like you have this duochrome, very soft aqua color called Throne. Yes. And then this little pop of lime green called Crown. But then you've also got this deep dark matte green and this pink shade and this more berry tone. I mean, there's a lot of neutrals in here. But first of all, I love the formula in this palette and the Weekend Festival palette. I think that they're very quality shadows, but I also like the mixture of warm tones and cool tones, and you kind of have like every kind of metallic shade you would need. You've got gold, you've got bronze, you've got, you know, more coppery shades. So I really like this palette. It's far more interesting than I even imagined it would be when it was just on my wish list. So I was really grateful when I got this as a gift, and you know, she's sticking around. So next is the ABH Sultry palette. I knew this was a holiday release, just like the Prism palette when it came out, but I didn't think it was going to go away quite as quickly as it did. And it bums me out because this is a fantastic palette. I think this should be a staple palette in the ABH collection, just based on the fact that there are quite a few cool tones in here, and you know, that's not overly prominent in the line of palettes since I've been on YouTube. So, and I just think that this was one that just nailed it, like the textures and the colors and the pairing of colors and things in here. Just, I mean, and little things like this silver shade has just ever so much like a hint of lavender shift to it, which makes it super interesting and just stunning on the lid. The textures were spot on in this palette. So it just kind of bums me out that this one went away so quickly, not because I won't use it on my channel, but because I think a lot more people would have bought that palette and would have enjoyed that palette, except for they discontinued it so quickly. So quickly in my mind anyways. Okay, so the next product is technically limited edition. It says it right on the Sephora website, but it is still for sale. And I don't understand that, to be honest, because there was definitely a lot of hype around this palette when it came out, and I was one that absolutely like jumped like on this palette when it came out. I wanted it so bad, and that is the Violet Voss Flamingo palette. And like I said, on Sephora's website it still says limited edition, but it's still available. And this is another one that I'm just so glad that I was able to get my hands on. I think it's a situation where I still can create looks with it and give you guys some sort of cues on what to look for in your collection if you're looking to recreate similar looks, like find a matte yellow, find a very light gold or a metallic yellow. You know, I feel like I can talk you through a lot of the looks that I would create with palettes like this without you having to buy anything. And then last but not least, this breaks my heart. And that is the Lorac Mega Pro palettes. If you've been around for any amount of time, you probably know that I love my Lorac Mega Pro 2. I have quite a bit of pan on this, and I just still consistently grab for it, especially when I'm in a hurry. I know this palette like the back of my hand, and so when I'm looking for a quick look or something really dependable that I know how it performs, I know how it blends, I know the lasting power and all of that, I absolutely reach for this one. And this is one of the oldest palettes in my collection, long since expired. And then this year I found the Mega Pro 4 at Marshall's and snapped it up because I love these palettes. And it looks like this. I have just barely scratched the surface on this palette. It's really, really beautiful though. This is the last of the Mega Pros that have been put out. From my understanding, they aren't going to be putting out Mega Pros anymore, but I love these palettes because you have the 2 rows of mattes, the 2 rows of shimmer, light to dark, and it's just really super easy and quick to come up with looks, but also the formula is impeccable. The mattes practically blend themselves like serious Disney kind of magic, and the shimmers are so smoothing on the eye. It's like if you have any texture on your eye, this is not going to emphasize that. In fact, it kind of blurs it or hides it a little bit, which is definitely some kind of magic. And that's it. That's what I have for you today. I would love to hear your thoughts on limited edition products. Does it really tick you off when creators use products that you can't actually go out and purchase anymore? Or do you feel totally comfortable with shopping your stash and finding something similar? I know a lot of you do because you let me know down in the comments, and I think that's super cool. I think whatever you want to do with your life, your finances, what have you, is your business. But I'm just curious. Let's have a conversation, and I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, even if they're limited edition, and I will see you in my next video real soon.